Welcome to the Nostalgia Test Podcast, the show where two longtime friends put their mainstream pop culture past to the ultimate test, the Nostalgia Test. Well, welcome everyone to another episode of the Nostalgia Test Podcast. I'm Dan Dissinger here in LA, and I'm here with my friend and co-host, well, longtime friend and co-host, Manny Coelho there in New York. Manny, how are you doing?
Dude, first of all, I can't believe you almost missed the intro drop by not saying long-time friend.
Almost.
What the hell is that all about?
Almost screwed it up.
Right.
But
I'm doing all right. I am very jolly. Let's just say I like the Christmas season, and I like that we're doing themed season on this one.
Yeah.
And because of this, watching this test kicked off me watching C- to C+ to B- to B+, the A's Christmas movies all weekend long. Like out of the woodwork Christmas movies. Some crazy, stupid movies. Holiday, really, what the hell was that movie?
Yeah.
Freaking Princess Switch.
Oh, that's a good one. The Princess Switch. Dude, all of those movies are gold. Especially when they have to go to some small town where all of a sudden it is Christmas and Santa's there and Dean Cain shows up. It's just like, what?
Dude, but I gotta say, this I didn't realize. 2018 Christmas Chronicles with Kurt Russell.
I gotta see it.
Oh my God.
Is it good?
I would say it's a good B+. It's good. In all Christmas movies about Santa Claus, there's not many new Christmas movies that I like that go past the B- C+ for me. Okay. Not like the one where we're just about to do, which, ladies and gentlemen, is the Tim Allen's Santa Claus.
Yes. Okay. 1994, Tim Allen's The Santa Claus. I mean, first of all, I'm going to come right out and just be brave and say, I forgot. I didn't even know that there was an E at the end, so that it was not the Santa Claus, and it was Santa Claus, like a clause in a contract. And when I was watching it the other day,
he brings it up.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing? What is wrong with me? But the Tim Allen 1994 American Christmas comedy film, written by Leo Benvenuti and Steve Rudnick and directed by John Pasquin. The first film in the Santa Claus film series. This is the first of a trilogy. Stars Tim Allen as Scott Calvin, an ordinary man who accidentally causes Santa Claus, played by Tim Allen's actual stunt double, to fall from his roof on Christmas Eve. When he and his young son, Charlie, finish St. Nick's trip and deliveries, they go to North Pole, where Scott learns that he must become the new Santa and convince those he loves that he is indeed Santa Claus. The film was released on November 11th, 1994. It was budgeted at $22 million, and it grossed $189 million. Wow.
Dude.
Wow.
Dude. If this doesn't make the top 5 lists of all best Christmas movies, y'all basic.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't ever think of this movie coming up that much in discussion when Christmas movies are talked about. Like, you don't hear people talk about Santa Claus, which it's weird to me.
Blows my mind. And I will say that I don't really watch it that often. My go-to, like, it's Christmas, is Elf. Okay.
Yes, of course.
We don't ask that. Boom. If you don't like Will Ferrell, you don't like it. But Elf, number one, that's the Christmas movie I'm going to be watching about 5 or 6 times before the end of the holidays. Okay.
Yes.
But, like, and then I get into other things, and you'll get the, Jingle All the Way every once in a while. But it's not like on the top list of, like, I know it's not like of all time. It's ironically good. Like, it's ironically cheesy. It's kind of in the B+. Maybe some would say it's an A-, but you never really, like, Santa Claus. The Santa Claus doesn't come up.
No, it doesn't.
Like, even if you search some of the Instagram posts that have been going up, the people that we follow, like, It didn't even come up as an option.
Not at all. It doesn't come up as an option. No one talks about it, and no one talks about the other two. You know what I mean? And
I gotta say,
baffled by
it's
that.
a pretty good fucking trilogy.
I've never seen the other two, but I definitely
it's
seen
pretty
this
good.
one. Yeah.
And if you don't agree with me, you listening, you're all basic. Why? Because
Danny, call them out.
First of all, it's a Christmas movie. Let's get into this, okay? All Boom. Right. Let's back down and just realize we're watching movies that are like, you want to talk about being suspending your disbelief and like getting into the movie and just like falling right into it. Christmas movies are the test of all times. Like, can you fall into this world in which jolliness happens all the time?
Yeah.
And then you have to this is how I feel. I go, okay, I'm in holiday season. I have to grade everything based on that. That's the curve, Dan. I don't base this on like, okay, if you take away holidays and you watch these movies are terrible. These movies don't stack up. Okay. They're terrible. They're easy to figure out, whatever. But now you're in Jolly Land. Okay. We're in that season, holiday season. So we're not judging it on Point Break. We're not judging it on Mission Impossible. We're not going to Good Will Hunting. Okay. No. We're in Jolly Land. Okay. Yes. This movie, how it didn't come up in lists is beyond me.
I can't.
It's beyond me.
Yeah. Because
people already know while they're listening what we're going to rate this, but I got to go through this, Dan. I got to get in because I watched it and I go, oh my God, this is a good movie.
I laughed a lot. Like I was
laughed.
Like, whoa.
There was some little digs.
Yeah. Like, it was. And this is Tim Allen at his height.
They might have.
Tim Allen at the height of like everything, and that's what's funny. Like, first of all, just to even like open up about the idea, seeing Tim Allen on TV is always like brings me back to our road trip when we sat in, I think, Louisiana and New Orleans, like kind of like for a day, just being like, watching Home Improvement because like we had to just like, I don't know,
take a
recover.
Yeah.
So it's really funny to see that. But at the same time, I am, after watching it, I was like, why don't I watch this more often? Like you said, you're right. I have the ones that I watched during Christmas, like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I'm going to watch,
of course,
several times. And I love that movie. Elf, you're right. I'm going to watch that. A Christmas Story. I'm going to try and watch that definitely. All these things. But
those three are the top three. And then maybe I'll get into It's a Wonderful Life if I'm with people that are like, that want to get that deep with that movie, because that movie's like, a little deep.
And I've already watched Miracle on 34th Street, like the original one. I've already watched it. Oh, the original one's amazing.
I've only watched last year. I watched the remake, the reboot or whatever of it. So the original one.
The original one's way better, because one thing I'll say about this, the guy who played Santa in the reboot, I can't look at him and not see him as the creator of Jurassic Park. So when I look at the original one, I'm like, all right, this guy is Santa Claus. He looks like Santa. And it's funny to watch everyone in that time period like as well. But to me, it works better as an older movie.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, here we are talking about the Santa Claus. But you're right. Everything we just said should include the Santa Claus, I believe, and I obviously see that you believe too. That just amazes me that the Santa Claus isn't talked about more as a holiday film that people should watch every holiday.
What was the rating on this?
On IMDb, it only got a 6.5 out of 10 rating, which, I mean, I guess that's good. I don't know, like.
But what are they rating it on? Are they using the scale of Jolly Scale?
They're not using the Jolly Scale.
Well, they should. Okay. Should be based on that. You can't be basing this on freaking, Shawshank Redemption. No. This is a Christmas movie.
Absolutely.
This should only be based on that. That's like rating Christmas songs.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it got a really high Rotten Tomatoes rating. So that's great.
Hells yeah.
It got like a 71, a 65% audience score, and the tomato meter 71%, I guess. So
okay.
That's a really high score for the Santa Claus, and I think that it deserves every point that it gets. I would agree.
Yeah,
but still not talked about. But so here we are.
Well, we're gonna talk about it. We haven't even talked about the opening.
No,
everything about the 90s of this movie.
Oh, the 90s of this movie.
The typical 90s openers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Shoulder pads for days.
Shoulder pads for days. Yes.
Puffy windbreaker jackets.
Puffy wind. Oh my God, I love it.
That had like random colors on it.
Yeah.
That looked like you took a quilt and just design things with that.
But because those jackets look so puffy, because the band at the bottom of the jacket, those windbreakers, was that elastic thing that's like just like grabbed your waist, so it made everything.
Everybody wanted to show their waist. Did you see the mom pants and the tucked in t-shirt? Who tucks in their t-shirt, Dan?
I don't tuck in my.
When's the last time you saw somebody tuck in a t-shirt?
Repeats of Seinfeld. That's it.
Dude, 90s.
Yeah.
Tucked in t-shirts, tucked in everything. I don't even tuck in my button shirts anymore.
No, there's no need to tuck. What do you need to tuck? So we open.
I'm not even wearing pants, Dan.
So we open this film and it's Scott Calvin, Tim Allen's character, at a party. He's a toy seller, or he works for a toy company or advertising company. Works for an advertising.
It's the typical Christmas story. Like the guy who works at the CEO of something that has to do with toys.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about anything. Doesn't really care about his family or kids, because everybody at this Christmas party, the family wasn't invited, so everybody's just,
Yeah. His kid's waiting for him. Tim Allen's character gets an award. He gets an award with a coworker, and as that coworker, this his coworker, this woman is talking. What does he do? Scott Calvin pushes her out of the way and just takes over the speech. I'm just like, okay, all right, this guy's a dick.
Scott. But I have to say, Scott Calvin is a dick for much shorter of a time than I thought he was going to be a dick for.
Yeah,
what's a dick for?
Yeah, he's not that. Yeah, for not that long. And what's funny is
I thought it was going to be longer, Dan.
It should have been longer.
They kind of like jumped the shark on that. Like he should have been more of a dick for like a little bit more than 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes of the.
Yeah, you remember you ever see that movie The Family Man with Nicolas Cage?
Yes.
It should have been a little more like that, but also we're in a PG film, so. But at the same time,
and we have to get right to it.
Yeah, we have to get right to it. People's attention spans are short. We got to get moving. It's Tim Allen, whatever. But you're right. I think they should have made him a little more of a dick. But there's a scene that we're going to talk about that I think they really capture how much of an idiot he is, and how much his kid. First of all, his kid Charlie, this kid hates him. In the beginning of the film, this kid hates his guts. It's just fed up with his ass. It's ridiculous.
This kid, we got to talk about Charlie, because Charlie.
Oh God!
All right, so we open up. Obviously, he's lying. He's late. He doesn't care. He's trying to get home. He's making excuses that he's in traffic.
Yelling at an imaginary woman again.
Yeah.
Yelling at women.
Yeah. The whole theme of that is divorce. He's a divorced father.
Yeah.
He hates his son's new dad or whatever, new fiance, boyfriend, whatever.
Played by Judge Reinhold.
Constantly love him in this, because we see his first awful sweater.
Oh God!
The joke of the sweater with him is amazing. He basically took Ross's outfits from Friends.
Yeah.
Well, Ross took it from him, because dude, the sweater game that this guy has,
amazing.
I want those sweaters. You can't get those sweaters.
Where do you get sweaters like that?
They make what are called ugly sweaters now, but they're all just funny now. That sweater was made by someone who actually thought that was a great sweater, man.
Yeah, they thought that was a good idea.
They didn't call that ugly sweaters.
No, they just called it
a sweater that was mass produced and sold, folded
in stores.
It's at JCPenney's.
pennies
during the holidays.
Sears.
Okay, some man or woman had to get paid minimum wage to fold these sweaters
in 94.
in
Minimum wage in
1994.
94. Like,
Okay.
oh my God, that's hilarious.
And like Scott Calvin does not want to call him a real doctor. He calls him a psychiatrist the whole time. Was this like a thing against psychiatrists?
Yeah, there's always a thing, I feel like, in movies against psychiatrists. Like there's always a joke against them. But you also gotta like, I feel like, put in there, like, Tim Allen is also in many ways his character from Home Improvement in this film. I mean, he picks up a tool belt when he's in the North Pole. I mean, come on. And so, like, I feel like it's his idea of like shaming this man for being, I don't know, a psychiatrist in like that way that men shame other men for doing, like, the jobs that they think are useless.
Sure. So, yeah. But so then whatever. He obviously sucks at, like, what is it supposed to be, Christmas Eve?
Yeah. It's literally Christmas Eve, and they're playing that song as he's driving through a town. I don't know where this town is. And it's like that. It's just like this, like, the stakes are so high, but he's late.
Yeah. He doesn't really care. And so he burns the turkey.
Oh my God, dude.
And I know this scene you loved, because I forgot about this scene.
He burned that turkey, but that turkey was on fire. And when it went on fire and spontaneously combusted again, everything was on fire. The tray, the whole thing just like lit up. And it's like the craziest scene I've ever seen. That kid is begging his mom not to leave him. He's like, please don't leave me. It's like,
yeah, I don't need to stay here.
How bad is this dad? Like, I mean, he's not like,
well, he obviously doesn't seem to care too much for like 10 minutes. But like, the best is like where everything's closed except for the Denny's.
But wait. Before we jump to Denny's, the idea is like, how old do you think Charlie is?
I hate Charlie. Just want to say that. First of all, can we just talk about, before we say how old you think Charlie is, do you know how old Scott Calvin's supposed to be in this?
Yes. 38. No,
38.
38. 38. 38.
They say in the police department.
Yeah.
38 years old.
Yeah.
Guy is a year younger than me. And he looked like, I don't know, because he looked like 50 in my eyes. I was like, dude, I thought he was going to be like 50. Forget about the fact that he looked like Santa Claus at one point. But like everyone else, 38?
I almost jumped out of my skin when I heard that. I was like, wait, whoa. And Tim Allen at that time was also like 40 or something like that. So
really?
He was playing pretty close to the age of his character. So that blew my mind, because I looked in the mirror and I was like,
yeah, I thought the same thing, dude.
I was like, and the other part, I'm like, wow, he's doing pretty well for himself.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that. I almost lost it. I was like, no way, no fucking way. But yeah, Charlie, it's got to be like, what, 8 years old?
Maybe.
And
no, he's got to be like 8, because like they go to the class, right? But he's pretty young, because he's like, his imagination is still there, like pretty good imagination.
Yeah, and Judge Reinhold, this asshole, tells an 8-year-old that there's no Santa Claus, and the mom's okay with it.
Yeah, the mom is weird. And what does she do for a living? Is she a lawyer? What is she?
I don't know what she does for a living. I thought what she did was like impersonate Uma Thurman from Pulp Fiction, because she had the same exact haircut as her from Pulp Fiction, and I was just like,
oh man, the kid's haircut too, man. To me, I was mesmerized about that bowl that the kid had on top of his head.
Bowl cut.
Oh my God. I had that haircut,
dude.
I pretty much have that haircut now.
I think we all had that haircut.
Yeah. So, all right, we haven't even. Of course, we went on rants here. It's been like, I don't know how long, and we haven't even got to the beginning of this movie of what happens. So they go to Denny's. I don't know what the scene with all the Asian men that are there.
Well, he says it's an American institution. Let's go to Denny's. It's an American institution. He's like, I don't want to eat here. The kid, I would be like, kid, there was just a fire in my kitchen. I tried my best to make a turkey. First of all, turkeys don't go on fire like that. I've never.
First of all, it's just the two of them. Why are they making such a big meal?
I have no idea. He really wants Charlie to love him. But like they go, and I love that music, dude. I love that music. Bo, 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 do, bo, do, 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 bo. That was like hilarious. And then he's like, all right, we'll eat at Denny's. It's an American institution. And it's like all the, Asian businessmen in there. And then they bring them because Charlie's like, he burned the turkey. And then this hostess or waitress like, oh, yeah, okay, come this way. They usher Tim Allen and this kid into the saddest back room of Denny's ever. And it's just all divorced dads and their kids at Denny's. It's the greatest scene I have ever seen. That was hilarious. I mean, I was like, I want more of this. Like, I want to know about.
Yeah, that didn't last that long. That joke was fun, like pretty good. Like the guy's hand was burnt off or whatever. And it was like, this is where all the dads go who have no idea how to cook.
All the shitty dads and the kids are like, I hate this. They bring him to Denny's now. I was just like, I wish there was a callback to these dads when he became Santa. Like he goes and helps them out, like he shows up at Denny's next year, because that would have been great. But whatever. But oh my god, that's
funny. Oh, that would have been a good callback.
Amazing, just amazing. And he keeps trying to order food that they don't have. Like, we don't have that. He's like, all right. Okay. So, good to grab apple pie. We're out. All right.
Yeah.
Charlie. Just like my dad sucks. Oh my god.
Yo, but Charlie has like somewhat high spirits for his father because like he's still kind of okay with him to, he's there, he's listening to the story.
Yeah.
Asking what's a clatter.
Yeah.
I don't want a ladder. Whatever. You hear the story. What I want to know is why is the Santa Claus so loud?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Because when they go home, obviously the story has to keep going, and Santa crashes into their house. I mean, it sounded like he crashed onto their roof.
He crashed into the house. I'm like, this is the only kid in America that heard that. He wakes up his father. So, and the Santa Claus, first of all, I believe did all this on purpose.
Yeah.
This Santa Claus didn't want to be Santa Claus anymore. And I'm going to tell you why.
Go.
He's wearing slippery boots on purpose because this is the first time he's ever been on a roof.
Yeah,
he gets startled that quickly that he slips, and they don't have like non-slip boots. Okay, so he's being loud, right? He's taking forever getting into this chimney, where you find out he can actually just hold the bag and float into the chimney. So boom, right there. Why is he walking on the roof?
Okay, I don't know.
Gets startled by Tim by just saying, "Hey, was the first time out of all the times that this guy's been Santa Claus that he startled people? He obviously is loud, so he gets startled that quickly. You would have been waiting for that if you're Santa Claus." Okay, yeah, I'm analyzing Santa Claus right now. Okay, he falls off, right, and dies instantly. How weak is this man?
Dude, his bones are made of glass. Like he literally, Tim Allen murdered Santa. I mean, literally.
First of all, yes, because so you could look at it that way. Okay, you could look if you don't look at it as the conspiracy in my eyes that Santa Claus wanted to go, but you Tim Allen scared the living crap out of this guy, made him fall, and killed Santa Claus because Santa Claus falls, has snow on him, and Tim Allen isn't his first reaction maybe take off the snow out of this man's face, see if he's breathing. No, he leaves this man covered.
I mean, it was the craziest scene, dude. He's like, okay.
He leaves him covered. And as they're going to go look at the reindeers, you see the guy going like this.
Yeah.
Waving by, right?
Dude, I wrote that down immediately.
Waving by. Now, that means he was still alive, could have uncovered his face, or Or because there is a part where they come back after seeing the reindeers. They come back, and Tim Allen goes, "He must be naked." That guy got out, undressed, and left.
Where did he go though? Like, I want to know.
Left, and it would have been awesome if they like show somebody later on in this movie, and we don't know that there's an Easter egg that the original Santa Claus bounced and he's hanging out. Maybe he's a bum in town. Maybe he's a homeless guy.
Dude, I was so baffled by that whole part because I was like, okay, let's table your conspiracy for a minute and just go, let's say Santa dies. Does that mean that he just like evaporates?
Yes.
And then goes where? Like, because I want to know, dust. Is Santa immortal? Because, but so does he age? Like, I don't know. Because Judy, when we get to the North Pole, I know we're jumping ahead a second. One of those elves, Judy, which freaked me out.
Love Judy.
She's 1,200 years old.
Sure.
So
she's seen many of Santas.
So Santa just dies a lot. He's like a goldfish.
Well, yeah, because it's the clause, right? So it says like the guy has to be this until he can't, or like there's something else in there at the end,
like by design, or by definition.
By design. So like maybe this guy was sick of being Santa Claus.
But these two people, the kid, Charlie, and Scott Calvin, Tim Allen, are not surprised that a man just fell off their roof and died, let's just say, and they're just like, oh, and then he disappears, and they're like, oh, put on this dead man's clothing, Dad. And then a ladder comes out of nowhere. Let's climb up this ladder now. Dude, they're not, nothing is surprising them. I'd be like, okay.
And this is where I say, like, they rushed Tim's like attitude.
Yeah.
Like, because in the beginning of the movie, which wasn't that long ago, I mean, it was like shorter than
before this or something.
It was shorter than this whole length to get to this part in the podcast, that he was a dick. And now all of a sudden he's like, okay, let me climb up this ladder just to get this thing. He makes a joke about key lime disease. Did you get that? Instead of Lyme disease, he's like, watch out for the reindeer. They have key lime disease. So like, so all these little jokes are happening. The son is the most annoying character.
So annoying.
Stop.
He is like the king of the guilt trip.
Dan, why in this movie do they not have one? Why isn't Bernard? Well, yeah, I'm fast forwarding to North Pole at this point. Why isn't Bernard telling him, stop telling people about Santa Claus? This kid tells everyone that his dad's Santa Claus. There's no Christmas, like in every Christmas movie, you can't talk about Santa Claus because believing in Santa Claus is what brings you Christmas spirit. Yes, I follow that rule in Jolly Scale, okay? This kid over here telling everybody about Santa.
But he's 8 years old. Let's say he's 8 years old. This kid is getting, first of all, this kid is getting in trouble for having an imagination. Like, he's getting in trouble for pretending. Like, seriously. And they're like, oh God, should he be believing in these things? Like, he's 8, bro. What do you want him to do? Like, he believes in Santa. He believes like these things. Like, it would be like if Calvin and Hobbes, like if like social services came to the parents' house and took the Calvin away because he had an imaginary friend.
Imaginary friend.
It's like, all right, we gotta take this like elementary school kid away because he uses his imagination. How dare he? Like,
I know, it's crazy.
They might as well just held him down and shoved pills in his mouth. Like, I mean, it was crazy,
Yeah, but he wouldn't stop talking about it.
No, he wouldn't. He was ridiculous. Totally ridiculous.
Like, Bernard needed to tell him that because he only listened to the elves the whole time. He only listened to Bernard. And Bernard should have been like, Charlie, shut the hell up.
Charlie is the easiest kid to kidnap, though. Like, they go to the North Pole, and Bernard's like, hey, would you like this? Yeah, here, do this. Oh, go with that person. Okay. And like, your skepticism. Like, you were such a skeptic outside of the North Pole, and all of a sudden it's like...
Yeah, and the best is, like, Tim Allen doesn't believe in it until next Thanksgiving.
Which is insane.
Which is crazy.
How does he explain anything?
That's why I'm like, they don't bring up that he's a dick anymore. He's just kind of this guy walking around who's like, all these changes are happening to him. And yet he doesn't believe it until Charlie gives him the globe. Are you kidding me?
Oh, yes, I remember. It's just like, that I had to pause. I was like, wait, for a full year, he didn't know what was happening? I mean, that can't be true. I mean,
that came up, and me and my wife were like, this movie's ridiculous. Like, she's like, maybe it's not a good movie. Wait, it took him this long. So this whole time, when he's gaining weight, he's trying to shave, trying to dye his hair, wearing Christmas stuff, talking all this stuff. He still didn't know. Like,
why is his clothing only Christmas clothing? Like, it was so funny that, like, at a certain point, anything he was wearing was just in Christmas colors. I was just like, you could bet there's no big and tall store near you or somewhere. Like, you could just get regular pants.
And this is coming from a man. This is coming from a man who, like, doesn't know or remember. It's like he was acting like outside of his own brain. Like he was just like on autopilot. He kind of was. Because I think that thing that happens at the meeting, he didn't control that.
I love that part. But, like, I think, like, when he gets the list, I mean, he can't be like, it's not like he's like, what the hell is this? He's just like, oh, God. Like, he knows sort of what it is. I think he's just in such a deep denial that that his brain won't allow him to accept the fact that, like, yeah, bro, you're Santa. This is it. Like, truly, this is it. Like, deal with it.
But he still didn't deal with it until later on.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really deal with it. And then he's like a hilarious Santa. So, I mean, like, it's totally ridiculous. But yeah.
So first of all, they go on the beginning thing. He, like, the reindeer's making him do all these things.
Yep.
He hasn't even become the Santa Claus that he becomes.
No, reindeer fart joke.
Yeah, he goes through the whole thing. There's kids that are up.
Oh just my God. That was dude.
The girl who's up.
He was such a dick.
She's okay. But it's great because, like, it does show, like, the kids that truly believe they're just okay. Like, yeah, you're Santa Claus, even though, like, you're not that fat and you shaved. Like, I believe it. You're not this just creepy guy that's in my house.
Well, yeah, and because, like, a fireplace showed up out of nowhere, so the kid's just like, yeah, I'm cool with this. Magic happened.
Yeah.
But that's
magic.
Yeah. Insane amount of magic. Like, and the other thing that was funny is, like, I was like, as they were flying around, I was like, does everyone have a flat roof? Like, because they were just landing on the roof. But Tim's roof, like Scott Calvin's roof, not flat. That's why Santa died. So, but everyone else's roof, totally flat, like a helipad. Like, there was like
flat. Which also very not efficient delivery system that you have to land at every house.
No.
Like, what? There should be some neighborhood stops.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Or, like, you just let out a bunch of bags or something.
Dude, you got to watch Christmas Chronicles.
I'm going to have to watch the Christmas Chronicles. I'm going to have to
updates all the things we're talking about.
Yeah. Kurt Russell, call us.
And there's a Christmas Chronicles 2 that came out this year.
Oh, dear God.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Yeah, but there's no way that he did every house. I mean, there's no way. I mean, he had such trouble with
Tim Allen?
Yeah.
No, Tim Allen gave up in Chicago. Like, when he was like, oh, we're going home. And take some, what? Did they pass out during the ride because they didn't realize they were going to the North Pole?
Yeah, I don't know how they didn't realize they were going to the North Pole.
How they not go be like, yo, Rudolph, Comet.
Yeah.
You missed my turn.
Yo, where was Rudolph?
No. Dude, Rudolph is in no movies except Rudolph.
Zero.
Because if you watch any Christmas movie, I don't think there's that many movies that it's foggy out. So, like, Rudolph does it. Rudolph, it wouldn't make for a great film. And Rudolph doesn't really show up anywhere. No. Like, they don't even mention, like, that he's in the stable.
No.
Just like you would think, like, oh, they're all getting ready. And, like, Rudolph's just like, yo, guys, see you later. Like, I'm still here. But, if you need me.
No,
only in the Rudolph movie, which is creepy as hell.
Oh, dude,
that's a creepy, dark movie.
That claymation thing?
Yes.
Yeah, that and the Frosty the Snowman cartoon movie. Did you ever watch that?
Yes, dude.
First of all,
Frosty, those movies are, like,
terrifying.
Those
like you're
movies are
watching
meant to scare kids to like be good.
Yeah, you're watching a frozen man melt to death. Like it's just like Jesus Christ, this is terrible. But anyway, like so, yeah, they go to the to the North Pole. Excuse me. It looks like a totally different planet. I was
Yes.
just like, what the fuck is this? And then that one elf walks out. First of all, no one's cold in this movie. No one is cold.
The elf's hands a little cold. He had gloves on, and he's like rubbing the hands when he touches the North Pole.
Yeah. Well, the North Pole, which is like a garage door opener.
Yes. Which I think is outdated. That thing should just automatically open when the sleigh is pulling up. Who wants to be out in the cold like that?
Like,
there's no dome. No. There's no dome over this sled. How is his face not frozen? No. Frozen.
Is that elf's job?
That's the elf's one job.
To walk out and just do that? Because that's crazy. And
that means he only does it twice.
Yeah, exactly.
He does it to open it.
Yeah.
And he does it to close it.
Yeah, that's it. And he stands out there.
That's it, because he only does it once a year.
Yeah.
Because Santa Claus is not going out with his sleigh any other time.
Not at all. And then what was funny is when they pulled up and then the reindeer leave, they don't do anything. They just sit there. And I'm like, so is the point here that like Scott Calvin is like, all right, Charlie, I guess we're gonna freeze to death now. Because
like this movie should have turned into a horror movie. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's
like,
it.
That was
dead.
fun.
Yeah.
We're dead.
Yeah, we're dead. You ever see Star Wars, that ice planet? That's what we're on. It's over.
Yeah.
If we don't find an animal to cut open and like sleep inside of, we're screwed. Oh my God.
So now they go down.
Oh boy.
And they're in the toy shop of amazingness, which is really just a sweatshop where
there's some child labor laws problems.
Forget about child labor laws. They're not children, they're elves. Okay. And even if they are, do they just enjoy working? Do elves ever get a time off?
Well, according
to Bernard
elf
does not, he was like, we only have 1 year to do this. Like, they just finished Christmas.
Yeah.
And they're getting ready.
Yeah.
For Christmas next year.
It's like Elf. Remember, like in Elf, when like Christmas is over, it's like, all right, 365 more to 4 days till Christmas, man. And they start making etch-a-sketches. No one wants an etch-a-sketch, but like they start making. And this is the thing about like movies like this, when they show the toy shop, they're not making any toys that anyone wants.
Christmas Chronicles.
I knew you were going to say that. I'm like, here we go, Christmas Chronicles. But
this stuff updates everything that we need to know about the North Pole.
But everything we need to know about the North Pole, Christmas Chronicles. This is not a plug for the Christmas Chronicles. We're not being paid by Christmas Chronicles. We're not. But next week we are having Kurt Russell on. No, but we're not. But yeah, dude, this is a sweatshop. It's a sweatshop, and Tim Allen.
And Bernard.
Holy
Bernard
shit.
is disguised.
Why
he's not an elf. That man is not an elf.
No.
And he's disguised, and he's making all these people work.
Yeah, he's pissed off all the time.
All the time.
He's the guy from Numbers.
Why is he so nonchalant about this? As if Scott is supposed to know this stuff. He's just like, you put on the suit. Yeah. Like, that's it.
That's it.
Excuse me?
Didn't you read the fine print on the business card while you were in your underwear outside freezing your ass off? Didn't you have a magnifying glass to read it?
He didn't want to. Dude, they didn't seem to care that guy died.
Then none of them were like
funeral. There's no pictures of the guy. They only answer to Santa Claus.
Yeah, this is a cult. This is a cult.
They don't care who's in the suit.
No.
They just want the suit.
They just see the suit. And that was the funny thing. Like, when he came down, they were all just like, yeah, there's Santa. It's just like, bro, didn't you see Santa leave? Like, that wasn't Santa.
No.
Like, that wasn't Santa.
They were like totally fine with the fact that the guy fell. Like, hey, it happens.
Yeah, it happens. Like, Santa dies.
Dude, Scott could have been like, does this happen every year?
That would have been my first question. And then my second question would be like, so when I die, why do I disappear? Where do I go? Like, what do I go back to my normal life? Like, what happens here?
Do you go into a painting?
You go into a painting like in
Witches? Dude.
Yeah.
What happens if you like? Let's say Scott didn't make it past Chicago because he's froze to death or fell off the sleigh because no one's teaching this guy what to do.
There's no doors. It's not like a closed like fucking vehicle. He should have frozen to death.
Okay.
He wasn't even wearing a hat.
He dies, and the next person, like, has there been a time where there's been 5 Santa Clauses in one Christmas because so many of them die and they can't handle the pressure of being Santa Claus?
Well, plus if you're going to a house and someone hears you, you don't think Santa gets shot? I mean, like, there's got to be multiple Santas in one night. At this point, like, this is what this movie's telling me, that there's multiple Santas in a single night, and that the elves are in a cult. They don't care. It's like the cult of the red suit. They don't give a shit about who's in the suit.
That's it.
They see the suit and they're like, oh, Santa's back. It's like, that is just some guy who put on clothing.
That was the guy that was the last. Yeah, that was a home. Like, it could have been a person who was just looking for clothing.
Yeah, literally. It could have been just some dude. Be like, oh, a jacket and pants. And then he's Santa. Yeah. But what if he doesn't go up there? What if he just takes the pants and the suit and just walks away?
So this is what I think happens. Because this explains Scott's like cavalier, like autopilot. I think the magic of the suit slowly transforms you. And as soon as you touch the suit, your fate has gone towards that, and you start to believe, and without knowing, you go into autopilot mode of becoming Santa Claus. You've now because he got in, he was kind of okay with going, like, it's almost like it felt natural to him to be at the North Pole. It was magic.
So you're saying that the suit takes over your choices, and while you're trying to not do it, you still are doing it.
Yeah, like, because it's slowly changing your brain, or in your and like it's slowly making you do things.
Like the symbiote in like Spider-Man 2, like Venom and like Venom from Spider-Man, like that alien symbiote.
Basically taking over.
Wow.
It's a parasite. So the suit injects a parasite into you.
We are changing the entire narrative.
You become overweight. You age very quickly.
Yes.
And you don't know what's happening, yet you're trying just to be you while this symbiote is transforming your life.
Yeah, because it changes your heartbeat. I mean, his heartbeat, when the doctor listened to it, was jingle bells. So yeah, it is like a parasite. Like that Santa parasite is like infecting your body, and all of a sudden he knows every kid's name, every person's name. Like he's walking down the street. I mean, we're fast forward, but he's walking down the street and he's like, Annie, good. First of all, what was happening to Annie? Like her mom was wiping her face, but for days she was just like, something's on your face. Like, but like then the kid,
they shot that scene way too long. The extra was like, you're just like wiping something, and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know.
She was erasing a chalkboard. Like trying to like rub that kid's nose off. Yeah, and it's like he knows everyone's name, and he knows the woman's name, Veronica or whatever. Like, Veronica, real good, yeah. Creepy. And then Veronica turns around and says, in your dreams, Playboy? Like,
no, she says in your dreams, Slave Boy.
Oh, Slave Boy. Dude, I could not hear some of the words. I think the sound mix in this was all messed up.
In your dreams, Slave Boy. But
she was kind of like into it because she smiled at him. So not a good lesson for people. Not a good lesson. Do not say shit like that to random women on the street.
That's what I'm thinking it like slowly takes over you, because Scott's like still trying, like he goes into work.
Oh, best. Yeah.
He gains all this weight. He orders all these treats. He like goes into like Will Ferrell's old school blackout debate mode, where like he stands up and he's like debating this guy about, the total tank and all this stuff. And he's like, I don't know what happened to me in there. Like all of a sudden he's in a dick.
But
it's not so really funny. He's not really embracing it, because he's like, I'm not really sure what's going on here. Like
he has no idea.
He still isn't. He got the list. He's still not like, oh yeah, I'm turning to Santa Claus.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what's funny? Like if we go back again, when he's at the North Pole, his bedroom creeped me out. That Santa's bedroom's got a puppet show going at the same time.
Yeah, what is up with that?
And then he gets into a sleigh bed with his kid, and to me, when that happened, I was like, "Oh, the movie's over."
Yeah,
That seemed like the end of the movie. I was just like, "Oh, the movie's done." Right? Like 20 minutes. That was it. We're done.
yeah. They wake up the next day. Charlie's saying how he had a blast. Scott Calvin's got these pajamas on all of a sudden. And they go to they're at the school.
Oh my god!
And the kid starts talking about how his dad's Santa Claus.
Yeah,
again.
The guy
rules before. Needed to. Oh yeah, the guy before the fire. The
third degree burns.
Third degree burns are terrible.
But see, that's what I mean. This movie is legitimately funny, and that's why like I still don't get why people don't talk about this Christmas movie more often. It was legitimately.
Oh
funny.
yeah, that kid, the redhead kid who was like, so all I got to do is kill you, and I become Santa. And I'm like, boom. He just said the movie. He just basically said what goes on.
But that's just weird. At the end of the movie, spoilers, when Charlie goes, "I want to go into the family business," and in my head, I'm like, so he's got to kill his dad.
Yeah.
Like this, like Highlander. Like, what's he gonna take? Like, there could be only one Santa, and then he pushes his dad off a roof and takes his pants.
That's right.
And also Judge Reinhold's sweater again.
Oh, dude, the sweaters are just. Did he pick out the sweaters?
I hope he.
I mean, they make fun of the sweater.
Yeah.
One of the sweaters.
Yeah.
He was trying to tell some sense to Charlie that there's just no way that one person could like travel around the world.
Yeah.
And Charlie's answer was like, well, not everybody celebrates Christmas.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. There's like a time continuum, probably.
Yeah.
You're 8, bro. Time continuum.
Again, they sent him back the next day from the North Pole way too soon.
Yeah, there's
like there needed to be at least 2 weeks. You're gonna not go to work. You're gonna be a missing person for a while because we need to like go over your stuff. And why does he go back? Again, goes back to this is a cult that only cares about the red jacket, that only cares about getting rid of the toys they're making so they can make more because they're addicted to making toys. Because they're like, you're due back
at Thanksgiving.
Like so they run the North Pole. So it's not Santa Claus's world. It's the elves' world. It's Bernard's.
It's definitely Bernard's world. And he's the boss. And Santa is just a pawn in Bernard's like game of cult game. What's funny that you said that though too, the other thing about the toys, but also about the like they're trying to continually convince Charlie that he can't have an imagination. And Charlie keeps arguing with them like it's fine. It's okay. Like I loved his answer when he's like, well, Neil, have you ever seen $1 million? He's like, no. He's like, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And I was like, boom. I was like, here you go, Neil. Like, come on, Judge Reinhold. Like, shut your mouth. Like, they continually try to convince this kid that he can't play pretend. Now, that's just messed up. You know, I think there are like more fart jokes. I think at this point too, like I mean, Tim Allen wakes up. There's another fart joke when he keeps getting fatter. He just starts to get fat. And dude, this was one of my favorite scenes though. That boardroom scene when he comes in sweatpants and a sweatshirt.
It's like I got stung by a bee.
Got stung by a bee.
And then he like orders a salad, and the rest of it is just like creme brulee, sundae. Like every sweet known to man, a whole tray of cookies.
Yeah, he's like, oh, good, an extra chocolate sauce. He's like, on the side.
On the side.
But the weird thing is, they watched him eat every single item of food, and then they started the meeting.
Best part of this editing was that they like amplified the chewing or the licking of the spoon and like the clinging of the spoon against the glass.
Oh my god!
So it was just like gross. And like they're just like watching. I'm like, who watches somebody eat like that?
Oh, dude, exactly. And
they had to go into the storyboard because in the 90s, every corporate like scene involved a storyboard.
and one of the shittiest storyboards I've ever seen. It was like an 8x10 picture.
Oh, dude, it was a terrible storyboard. You didn't even see what was going on.
No.
Like this was just for the joke of like him standing up and like going into blackout mode about talking about. He still doesn't believe he's Santa Claus.
No.
This is still in the beginning. Like we're in the typical fashion of this podcast. We're back to him just being overweight. He hasn't even grown a beard.
He hasn't grown a beard yet. He just started getting fat, and he is. I think one of my favorite parts about this scene, though, is when like they say, "Is we're gonna talk, Santa Claus," and then he starts getting excited. He's like, "Yeah," and he does this thing like it's like he knows he's Santa, but like what you're saying is like the Santa parasite that has invaded him is making him enjoy this moment. Yeah. And then he totally freaks out about like Santa in the tank, which was it's so funny. It's like, yeah, that's what the kids want to see. They want to open the window and see Santa rolling down their street in a tank. Like it's like, dude, he's right. He's right on. Exactly. Like that's exactly it. But Santa,
he's like, where are the reindeers?
Where are the reindeer? The tanks like break. Santa is super anti-capitalist. That's one thing I realized because he's like, we can't make toys that break, and I'm just sitting there.
Yeah. And he's like, that was the point. And he's like, no, we have to make them inexpensive and we have to make them nourishing for the child for life. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. So then he goes out and he totally was like, I don't know what just happened in there. Like, that's what I'm saying. This thing was slowly taking him over.
So he's slow because I think what's funny is like, if I'm thinking of what Bernard said to him, like, go back, get your affairs in order and be back here after Thanksgiving. And I'm like, now after what you're saying is like, it's not that he's getting a mind wipe. Like he does know who these people are, but his old life is over. Like, it's what I mean? Like, and in some ways he is some people dying because he's never going to show up again.
No, because like he's gonna, so you didn't watch 2 and 3, but in some ways, like he's gonna have to live at the North Pole.
Yeah.
Like, because what is he gonna do for work? He can't afford to be at that house.
No. He has to stay at the North Pole.
But then he's gonna be like useless at the North Pole.
Well, that's what I don't understand. Like, a part of me was like, so does he get skinny again and go back home and then get fat again over time to go back to being Santa? But then I'm like, that would be a weird existence. Like every year, like you lose weight, you come back, then you put the weight back on. I mean, it would be like insane to like exist in that way. We're two grown men talking about Santa Claus.
Dan, I'm in the jolly scale right now.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
You got him. So I don't even know where we're at here. He's in the park. So he sits in the park. His beard is now Mr. Almost Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And then like this child comes over to him. So back to me saying like magic is starting to take over.
Yeah.
The kids believe. They don't need to ask any questions.
None
they
whatsoever.
Just know.
Yeah.
They just know. Worst soccer game going on at all time. The whole time. Everyone's just following the ball. It's terrible. Mom and Neil both dressed in mom pants. And I mean both of them are dressed in mom pants and tucked in shirts. Are watching this where there's a lineup of kids sitting on this guy's lap. And he just goes with it. Again, autopilot mode. He still does not, Dan, we're still at the part where he has not accepted that he's Santa Claus.
But he's allowing
he's children. Okay with it.
Yeah, he's allowing children to sit on his lap in public.
Feels all right. It feels right to him.
And it's so weird. And the thing is like, what's funny is the reaction that Neil and the mom have. They are reacting like he is like trying to murder people. And then what's funny is Charlie, they take it's one of my favorite scenes. They go, we're leaving, right? They're like, you're sick. Like, I can't believe you would take it this far to do like to say you're Santa Claus and blah blah blah. And then
to have your kid love you.
Yeah. And they take Charlie, and Charlie's like, Mom, the game just started. It's like, we're leaving. And they walk straight through a game that's going on. I'm just like, this poor kid is just trying to play soccer. He's trying to have a childhood, and they're like, no, we got to just take him away from.
No one else is reacting to Scott, by the way.
No one
has stopped. Yeah, none of the parents are like. None of the parents of these kids are like.
I don't think these kids have parents. I don't know where their parents are. There was a ton of them.
Where are they? There was a lot.
Yeah, it was really that was weird. I was like, how did this line of kids come about, and where are the parents? But no one's afraid of him. No one's freaked out. He had a little episode at work, whatever. He could deal with that. And then like his wife and and the stepdad are the ones overreacting. Totally overreacting in this whole thing.
No, they're terrible people.
Horrible.
Okay. So then the next scene is them at the courthouse, right?
Dude, the craziest thing.
This is great. This scene is fantastic.
Go ahead.
Okay, and if you realize this, now that I'm like realizing his chain of clothing, Scott's chain of clothing is getting more and more Christmas themed.
Yeah.
Right? But hasn't been taken over yet, totally.
No, not totally yet.
Because in this scene, it's like a button-down shirt with a tie that's very Christmassy. Yeah. So it hasn't gotten into the like sweater, whatever. So the parasite hasn't totally hit him. Right? This is where I hate Charlie the most. Oh, Charlie.
God.
But see, like, you're right about this. Like, I hate Charlie, but I also hate the parents on it. Like, I mostly hate the parents on this because the kid's not even, let's say this wasn't true, that his dad's Santa Claus. Like, the kid's just having an imagination. He's not hurting. None of this is hurting anybody.
No one is getting hurt. The stakes are not, the stakes in this movie aren't high enough with the kid. Like, he's not in danger. This literally has everything to do with the mom and the stepdad hating Scott. That's it.
No, and hating Santa Claus.
Because
Santa you hear it in this scene. Dude. Okay, she is all upset because at around her son's age, she stopped believing in Santa Claus because she didn't get whatever
mystery date.
And he at 3. This was some serious psychiatrist moment right here.
Unreal. Yeah.
He's telling a story that he stopped believing in Santa Claus at 3 years old because he didn't get a whistle. And I was like, you know why you didn't get it? Because you were probably not nice.
Exactly.
You were probably naughty, Neil.
None of in those 2 monologues, there was not one thought that maybe that year they were both naughty and they didn't get those gifts because they were crappy. Instead, they were like, I don't believe in Santa now because I didn't get those gifts. There were plenty of times where I didn't get gifts that I wanted when I believed in Santa. And guess what? I didn't go, there's no Santa, because I was like, holy crap, there's a ton of other gifts I got. And the other thing about believing in Santa is just like, this reminded me a lot about how like my dad was so into the idea of believing in Santa, that he would, when we lived in, I was living in Queens in Ozone Park, my bedroom was on the bottom floor and a yard facing the yard. So when on Christmas, my dad had these sleigh bells, and at night he would walk out there and ring them yeah. And I would get up.
That's so crazy.
I would tell them in the morning, be like, I heard the bells. I heard these the sleigh bells, and that stuff. And so it was fun.
Your dad played that, went through it. Wow.
Yeah, he walked outside with these bells, and he'd shake them slightly to kind of make the noise. And there was always a letter, and there was all those, they would the cookies and stuff. We'd leave a carrot for Rudolph or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
The hell with the other reindeer. Just feed that one reindeer. Yeah. Or in this case, Comet. So it was funny to think of that in my childhood and how the encouragement to believe in Santa versus this kid, the encouragement to just grow up. You're 8, bro.
Yeah.
And so, it was really such weird. But back to this scene though, but back to one thing I do want to say. There's so many, there are monologues in Christmas films that are just fucking depressing.
This reminded me of the Gremlins monologue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, what is with these movies and these monologues? Like, I just could not believe it. I was just like, what is happening here? All right, so we're in the judges' room, and this is why Charlie's annoying, because Scott Calvin his dad has already had a talk with him about keeping the Santa stuff to himself, and that's their secret.
He told him $5 he was going to give him.
You
know what? Charlie would have listened to Bernard.
Oh yeah.
But also, this shows how innocent this kid is.
He's 8, probably.
He's 8 years old. He's like, yeah, they want me to tell him everything. I'm telling you, like, Dad, because he truly doesn't believe that he did anything wrong. He was like,
yeah,
Dad, I told him everything about you in the North Pole.
And then this man's visitation rights gets taken from him for what? Like, there are movies
It's Neil's plan, dude. This is Neil's plan.
Neil is a creep, and he needs to be dealt with, because, like, I was just like, what is he trying to do? And that's some horror movie bullshit. Like, like weird, like, I'm taking your family. Then the next scene is he's walking down the street in more Christmassy clothing now.
This is when it's almost the final push of full Parasite magical Santa Claus takeover. He's almost not Scott Calvin at this point.
Oh no, yeah.
He's gonna be Santa Claus. Okay. He is dressed in, like, he makes fun of Neil's sweater. This sweater takes Neil's sweater and kicks its ass.
That totally does. Yeah.
Christmas of sweaters. Unreal. And it's a button down. And it's a button one.
That's great.
Button Christmas sweaters, or even the buttons hang. It's a very awkward thing. Button sweaters, man. Yeah. They're tough. They're tough.
And if I saw this man walking down the street, I would be like, that's Santa Claus. Like, you're not trying to hide. No. Like, you're a magical being at this point. Like, you are a magical being. It would be like the Easter Bunny walking down the street, being like, "Hey, how you doing? Just getting my newspaper."
Yep. Yeah. And it's Thanksgiving, it's like, oh, yeah, he's getting ready to go to the North Pole.
Yeah. Like, is that cool. What it is? It's Thanksgiving?
Yeah. So that's because Bernard comes to get him. Says you're due back.
Whoa.
Thanksgiving.
Whoa. That changes everything.
Why? It's been a year. It's almost been a year.
But wait a second. Charlie leaves with him. That means he was missing for like a month?
Yeah, dude.
Holy shit.
He kidnaps Charlie. This is the best part.
God.
This part of the movie, the fact that this is only like, this is really towards the end of the movie too, right?
I totally didn't realize that. That's why his mom was so distraught.
Yeah, dude.
He was missing.
It wasn't Christmas Eve.
I thought it
wasn't Christmas Eve.
God. Oh my God.
Because Bernard grabs the turkey. And he's like, "Oh, you guys don't believe in basting?"
I couldn't hear some of these words.
So the best part about this is, first of all, they don't have a big family because it's only Neil and the mother all the time.
They're like no cousins.
It's not the best part, but there's never any more people in this movie. It's just them. And then, he's going there to see him one last time. Like, on Thanksgiving, Neil and the mother are stone cold like, yeah. You're never seeing him again.
You're never seeing him again.
You just showed up in his Christmas sweater. How did Neil not go, "You're fucking Santa Claus"?
Yeah. How did he not do that? And how is he you're not seeing him again? You've never hit him. You've never neglected him. I mean, you were, pretty shitty dad, but whatever. I mean, you're not that.
You were a shitty dad for like the first 10 minutes of this movie.
Yeah, and you've obviously given him some sort of a life, blah blah blah. Yeah, now you can't see him because he loves you. That's like literally what
he loves you so much.
Oh, he loves you so much.
So then Charlie gives him the globe after having the globe for over 10 months. Gives him the globe. And only now does Scott believe that he's Santa Claus. And Charlie has a crazy encounter with Neil.
Oh my God. I thought this was Radio Flyer level. Like, I thought it was getting to that point.
Dude, if Radio Flyer's father was there,
it would be a totally different movie.
Charlie would have been on he was on the sled. He got out. He got out. Dude, when he screamed at him, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was crazy.
But you know what? Charlie gave it to him.
Gave it to him. Neil, you deserved it.
That
Sorry,
mom,
but you deserve this one. And the mom, so mean. She was flip flopping both ways.
Yeah,
come on. Because then she was like, "Oh, Scott," and then she's like, "Charlie." When she goes outside.
Oh my
terrible.
God. Yeah.
But so he kidnaps his son
for a month. I totally did not, because the way it looks, like when they cut everything together in the film, I was like, it didn't make, I guess time didn't really make sense in that moment for me. I just I thought it was already that night.
No, so Charlie goes back to help the elves with all the new inventions to help his dad not die.
Yeah, apparently.
Like Charlie thinks about this and is like,
yeah,
you need to be fireproof. You need to do this. So apparently it took over 1,200 years and nobody's ever improved on Santa Claus's things.
Apparently Charlie is an engineer. He's a genius level physicist. Like,
yes.
I mean, he's helping the outside. Like, oh, he's so great. Like, he's helping us do things we never thought. I'm like, he's 8. Like, what's happening here? Like,
they lost their imagination, Dan. They've only been making the same
rocking
stuffed
horse
doll and the rocking horse. That's it. Rocking horse, stuffed doll, Etch-a-Sketch.
Oh,
rocking horse, stuffed doll, Etch-a-Sketch.
That is so funny. Holy shit.
Yeah, so they don't care if he falls off the roof.
No, they don't.
Like, they invented. First of all, can we just talk about how the fact? We'll bring that back up. I'm gonna hold on this. So what happens next? I'm trying to remember.
So now, like, he's going around giving gifts now.
He hasn't been caught yet. Santa's sleigh should be a bubble, like kind of like the Pope's like cart.
Yeah. Why isn't there a cover?
I don't know.
Anyway, so they go to the house. The first house they go to is that little girl. He leaves the toys. He's not an asshole anymore because the Santa Claus parasite has taken over totally his entire body. And
except he's still lactose intolerant.
Oh my God, that was so funny because like he obviously wasn't, and he drank this soy milk, and I was just like, oh my God, that was a cute callback. I'll say. That was callback. That was nice. That was good.
He's like,
yeah, go ahead.
Something's wrong with your milk, and she's like, oh no, it's soy milk because you said you were lactose intolerant.
I want to imagine her parents being like she's like, we have to buy soy milk. Now this is 1994. There's no like coconut milk, I think, at that point, or almond milk, oat milk, all this like milk that you can choose from now.
Nut. No.
Yeah, there's no macadamia milk as well. But you could imagine her mom, like the parents, like going, "What? Santa's lactose intolerant. He told me last year. I gotta leave soy milk out for him." And then they're sitting there going, like, we have all this soy milk now. I don't even want to imagine what soy milk tasted like in '94.
Oh, just like Tim Allen's reaction. He basically said it was sour milk.
Yeah, it had to have been gross.
So this part was great. And then what do they trap him, right? Because he gets caught in
his own
Charlie's house.
Why would you go to his house?
First of all, why is Charlie going with him?
I don't know.
Santa Claus should be by himself.
Yeah.
Charlie's going with him because he's planning on killing his father to take over the family.
Charlie. I just didn't understand why he had to go back to his house. Why? To leave gifts?
Didn't have to.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Charlie's gift should be the fact that he gets to travel around with Santa Claus.
Yeah, your dad is Santa. That's the gift. You get no more gifts. It's over. Gifts are done for you.
Like, you go and sleep in the North Pole, you have gifts everywhere. You could play with everything.
That's your gift. I don't know why he had to, in the pattern of giving gifts that night, go, all right, got to stop at my ex-wife's house. It's like, no, bro, that's a trap. You kidnapped your child. He's been missing for a month, and you're going to go back to the scene of the crime? Good job. And he gets arrested.
And why was Charlie upstairs?
He was upstairs or on the roof?
I thought he was on the roof. And
then Charlie comes down, right? They see him? No, they still don't know where he is.
No, they don't, because they end up getting the elf squad.
Dude, that was hilarious. But before that, why are these parents taking their kids outside to watch Santa get arrested? Like, it was just so weird to see, like, all right, there's some stuff happening. It's Christmas Eve. All right, kids, get up, put your shoes on. We're going outside.
That girl's jacket, though.
Oh my God.
Whoa. There was a lot happening with that girl's jacket.
There's some things from the 90s I don't miss. Some jacket.
That girl's jacket is if you walked into like Michael's craft store and you had glue on your jacket and you just landed on things. You came out and you're like, this is my jacket.
Oh,
what the hell is that jacket? So they get the elf patrol.
Yeah.
Right? Elves with attitude. The elves can fly with this jetpack.
Yeah, jetpacks, yeah.
Why don't you give that jetpack to Santa Claus so that if he falls off the roof, he can just fly like the Rocketeer?
That's called logic, Manny. And the thing is, there is no logic in these movies. They could give Santa Claus some sort of rocket-propelled like pack or boots or something to ensure that he doesn't fall. Or since everything is magic, why can't he just float to the ground? Like, I don't understand what Santa is. Like, is he an elf? Is he magical? He obviously can't get diabetes. So obviously he's some sort of like weird, like, you know, magical being.
Yeah, so if he falls off the roof, he shouldn't die right away.
No, he shouldn't die right away. But of course he doesn't because he waved goodbye to that other Santa. So again, I'm trying to figure out, where does this body go?
What happens if it's your choice and you can say, I'm done? And that's why he became mortal and his parasite left him for the moment and was like, all right, fine. And then he died because he let himself go. That's what I'm telling you, that there's got to be a story out there that the Santa Claus is somewhere in town. The guy who ran him off. Yeah.
I want to see a movie about that guy.
We need to write a script of like Santa Claus after, you know, and him leaving like naked throughout the town.
I'm going to start a Google Doc right now.
Imagine in the jail where Scott Calvin is. Guy sitting next to him is the guy who was flashing everyone because he was naked.
Oh, so maybe that guy was Santa Claus in the beginning of the film. He got arrested for indecent exposure, but then he'd be in jail for a year?
Sure. They don't know who he is. He doesn't know who he is.
Well, it's like a small town jail. There's like 3 jail cells.
No, but I'm saying he doesn't know where he is, so he couldn't get released.
Oh, so he just stays there. It was nice to see a cop that wasn't drunk, finally, in a movie.
Oh, yeah. That's because this wasn't a horror film.
But who's stuffing his face with donuts, which, I mean, come on.
Yeah, elves with attitude. This is a great scene. I like this part. Again, Charlie gets kidnapped by elves now.
He is the worst.
This guy just goes with it.
He just is he just goes with the flow. Like, Charlie's just like, I've never seen these people before.
I'm not going to tell mom that I'm here, that I'm okay, because mom's still panicking.
And no one hides what they are. The elves fly over that police car and they're like, hey, and then they stop and they turn around and wave to him.
And wave.
Like, what?
There are no secrets in this movie, Dan.
Zero.
No secrets.
Yeah, no secrets. It was ridiculous.
Not like Elf, where like Christmas spirit was to believe and you didn't want to be seen.
That's right.
You know, you got to follow that rule.
Yeah.
My Jolly Scale, you follow this rule. This is why this movie isn't exactly to the T of Christmas movies. In this movie, elves don't care. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. But anyway, like, you know, just to get back, like, the elves come in there, they tie up the cop, and then they break Santa out with a piece of tinsel. Love that. I mean, they cut the tinsel. But this is again, if you have magical tinsel, then there's got to be other stuff that you could do to make sure Santa doesn't die from falling off a roof.
Again, that guy died by choice.
So he's just
he's not dead.
He just killed himself.
Like when you tell yourself, I'm done. Then like all your magical powers go away. It's fate that. So I think like it was all planned.
I see. Yeah. So he escapes. Doesn't he bring Charlie back then to the house at that point?
Yeah. So Charlie goes back to the house. He returns them. They finally believe him because he shows them that he's floating.
I don't know. But the other thing is, where were the reindeer after he got arrested?
They're waiting at the house.
So they were on the roof? Because I didn't see them.
They were there. That's where Charlie was.
He was just by the reindeer.
He was waiting by the sleigh.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So he goes back.
I can't believe we're taking this long to analyze a movie called Santa Claus.
Dude, I listen back on our episodes and I edit and I'm like, dude, we like like the depth that we go. But yeah,
so I'm rewatching the last part of the scene, right? They break him out. The next scene is like him returning Charlie to the house.
Why is he getting rearrested? There should be other cops. Why aren't there more cops there? The kid is still.
I don't know. Somebody should be arresting these two parents for wearing the sweaters that they were wearing at the end of this movie.
More sweaters, man. Just more sweaters. Like I can't even know how they found all these sweaters.
And then Neil's looking for Bernard. He finally gets his whistle, right? Dude. They're about to. The cops are coming. They're all outside.
And the mom looks at him and she goes, "Santa Claus." I'm like, okay. Now they're seeing this guy as Santa Claus. He's been in front of you for a year, but also you've all hated him for how long? And all of a sudden, just because now he's Santa, everyone's like, loves this guy.
All of a sudden, he made up for everything?
Yeah, he gave you a board game that's been outdated for decades, and he gives the other guy this small, stupid, plastic, stupid-ass whistle. And all of a sudden, he's just like, he's Santa. I'm like, this is what you were waiting for? This whistle.
Did you notice that some of the kids were elves and they run away at the end?
That was creepy.
Yeah, they just wanted to make sure he was okay.
Yeah.
Because they're all dressed like regular kids and then they leave. And now everyone sees Santa Claus.
Exactly.
And they know it's Scott Calvin. Now they're gonna go to this is why, dude, his life is over. He can't go to his house. No, he's popular now. Yeah. People are gonna be stopping by there.
Yeah, or kidnapping him.
I forget what the second one was about. I forget what happens.
But the other thing is, everyone knows that he's Santa, and everyone knows that Charlie is the son of Santa Claus now. He is a target for ransom. He is a target for kidnappers. Like, they need to go into witness protection immediately. Like, immediately.
Dude, stuff happens. It gets a little dark in the third one.
Really?
I'll tell you that much. That time travel happens. Yeah.
Why I remember there always time travel in the third one?
There's a guy, I would call him Mr. Freeze, basically.
Yeah. Martin Short.
So
right?
He goes back into the time before Tim Allen puts on the suit, and he puts on the suit.
Oh. Wow.
So then you see what life would look like when Scott Calvin wasn't Santa Claus.
Oh, dude, that's a real that's like It's a Wonderful Life, or even like Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3, not 3, Back to the Future 2. That's interesting.
Yeah, and look, Mom just lets him go, just like that.
Yeah. 10 minutes.
He should have just taken Charlie.
He should have
the whole time.
Exactly. Yeah.
He should have been like, guys, I'm Santa Claus. You're never gonna stack up to me. Like, I win. Best parent of the year.
Best parent of the year. Yeah, he's coming to visit. Okay. He's coming to live with me. Like, what can you even provide him that I can't? I am Santa.
Yeah.
Like, I
can get him everything he wants.
Yeah, you're Neil and whatever the mom's name is, which I don't know. And I'm Santa.
Yeah, I win everything.
I win. It should have been the end. Like, he just takes me. He's like, peace, I'm out. Like, you can't come to the North Pole.
Thanks for custody, bitch.
Yeah, she burns the custody papers. That was the best part. I love that thing. Dude, just so everyone knows, like, that this movie, the first movie, was budgeted at $22 million and it made $190.5 million. So this movie was a gigantic hit, right? Part 2 was budgeted for $65 million. It got a bigger budget, and that came out in 2002, and that made $172.9 million. Now, that was a hit. In the third one, released in 2006, The budget was only $12 million. And it made 110.8 million. So it was still a huge hit. Like,
dude, they're all hits.
Unbelievable.
They're all hits. I mean, dude, I'm telling you, if you get a good hit that's fairly decent, B-, C+ during the Christmas season, people will watch it or listen to it. Even like in the episodes that we do about the Christmas songs, like that is a perfect way to constantly get hits because people want to feel jolly, bro. Jolly scale is different. The jolly scale is different.
Yeah. I feel like
there's not many trilogies that the third one is like a hit. What name a trilogy the third one is like phenomenal?
Well, a hit. I liked Raiders. I liked The Last Crusade, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Okay, that's one.
But it's not a trilogy because they made another one, so I guess that doesn't matter anymore, right? Because
what about like Star Wars? It's not like the original ones.
Yeah, the original 3 Star Wars. I would say Return of the Jedi was a great movie, but I thought it was. I mean, that's a good one, but see, that's the thing. Like, they're very few and far between, probably.
One would argue that Back to the Future 3 was terrible.
It was horrible.
I liked it. That's for another test.
Ninja Turtles 3, bad. Turtles in Time, that was a bad movie. And
that movie
is terrible.
Should never even.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Godfather 3, terrible film.
Ugh.
I mean, I didn't get to see Face the Music yet, the third Bill and Ted, but I'm hearing a lot of great things about that film. So
there's nothing great about that film.
Dude, shut your mouth.
It's fine.
Notice how they have not made a third Wayne's World. I just want you to notice that because no one is clamoring for a third Wayne's World. It
is fine, but it's not. It's good for a part 3 of a. If you put it on that scale, like against all trilogies, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
but it's nothing like. If it didn't get made, I wouldn't be upset. Anyways.
Yeah.
Right before we do this
Revolution.
Test, yeah, oh my God,
terrible.
Fucking terrible. Right before we do wrap this up,
hit me with the honorable mention. Yeah.
Shout out to Lee's mention to me because we were going back and forth of what is a Christmas movie, and you know, those who are listening would argue about this too. I know, and Lee even mentioned a couple people mentioned Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
I'm tired of
you know what? You know what? Just because it was taking place during Christmas doesn't mean it's a Christmas movie. Right. What is it mentioned one time? You see a Christmas tree in the lobby, and then they're at a Christmas party. Is that why?
I don't think that counts. I don't think that counts.
The rest of the movie is about him.
Terrorists.
Gremlins, Christmas movie.
100%.
I'm saying Christmas movie.
Gremlins is a Christmas movie.
Ready? Shout out to Lee. Batman Returns.
Dude, I knew you were going to say, I was watching you and you're sitting there, you're like, and I'm like, he's going to say Batman something. And I'm like, here we go. Like, you know.
Batman Returns. I have to go back to it, but yeah, it does take place during Christmas most of the time.
Is that the one with the penguin?
Yes.
No, yeah. I haven't watched that movie in a while.
And Friday After Next.
Oh, I think that is a Christmas movie. Is that a Christmas movie? Oh my God, dude, I haven't seen.
Man, we got a lot of tests coming up in the seasons. All right, Dan.
All right, well,
we're here.
Tell me, we are here. We're at the critical point of the.
I mean, it goes back to this podcast destroys movies. We make fun of things that we love the most.
Yes.
Right. We get deep on these things.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
Yeah.
And take away the jolly scale. It's still good, man. It's a good 90s film.
Yeah.
You got everything about the 90s that were awfully great.
Mm-hmm.
You got shoulder pad for days. You got tucked in t-shirts, mom pants, bowl haircuts.
For men and women. That mom had a bowl haircut too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jackets beyond jackets of fluff.
Oh my God.
Wayne did not stand a chance.
No,
in
not
the
at
90s.
All. And his car was such a boxy car. The cars were so boxy.
They were so
nothing
sleek in the 90s.
No, nothing was aerodynamic.
Nothing.
Nothing.
The food looked terrible.
Oh, the food looked like garbage.
The sweaters.
Oh,
wow.
Everything looked bad.
Anyways.
But in that great way.
I'm saying this thing blows the test. The nostalgia podcast jolly test out of the water, and it should be mentioned more in Christmas movies that people talk about.
People need to respect this film. I totally agree with everything you're saying. This movie definitely passes the nostalgia test. It blows the nostalgia test out of the water. It is still good. People need to be watching it more. I feel like this movie during Christmas needs to be seen more. And the thing is, what's funny is like when I think back on our Halloween episode and when we did the Halloween stuff, I was like, oh man, we're gonna do another themed, month, right? And I was like, oh man, let's hope this one's a little better than Halloween. Halloween was like, I feel like we've had a pretty good run. I feel like the holiday season, the Friends, when we started Thanksgiving with the Friends episode, was like, oh boy, it got shaky there for a minute. But I feel like, this is going to be good.
This is bittersweet for me.
Oh, okay.
It's bittersweet that we're coming to the end. Like by the time everybody hears all this, like we're not putting any more to the test, right? No.
We have one last holiday episode coming up, and that would be our year-end wrap-up.
I know. So I was watching. I was actually excited that we did this. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, another themed one. But man, the two movies that we reviewed, fantastic.
Yeah.
Both passed the test, right? They both passed.
They both passed the test. Yeah. I feel like this was I feel like people are looking for good stuff, like good movies to watch, and Christmas movies, I think, already have that part of it that like makes it good. It's a Christmas movie. I have a lot of leeway for Christmas movies, but this one,
I'm telling you, Jolly Scale starts up here.
Yeah, this one though was a pleasant surprise because it was legitimately funny.
Oh, it was funny. It was great for kids. It was great. Good movie, man.
I want more about those the Denny's dads though.
We need the Denny's dad. This is, if anyone's out there that writes movies, we need Denny's dad, like a whole, just like, I don't know, 30-minute sketch, or even put this on an SNL sketch, like of what happens with these guys afterwards. All right, go back to them, and we need the movie of the guy who Tim killed or did not kill, who chose to finally be done with being Santa Claus. Yeah. It goes back to like, it would be awesome to see him like go back to normal.
Oh yeah, and try to get his job back.
Like, does it go back to like what he was before, or maybe the guy was like only Santa Claus for 1 year, and he's like, "Yo, have this job."
This is crazy.
You never see Bernard going like, "Yeah, that guy sucked, so thank God you showed up." Like, they never say anything. No, that guy was not good at his job.
No, and his job is literally automatic. I mean, he grabs a bag, the bag brings him inside, he empties the bag, and then he goes back up in the next house. But it's got to be maddening. It's got to be maddening.
It's got to be. Dude, the guy, they might have hated him, like, because Bernard doesn't talk about him at all. Nobody ever gets upset about this.
They literally ghosted that guy. He's like he didn't even exist. It was just like,
it was as if they knew he was gonna fall. They're like, dude, imagine the scene is that the elf
there's like an elf in the thing, like Judy was in the sleigh, and then all of a sudden like Judy pushed him like just a little bit, and because they're like, fuck this guy, like this guy missed about 1 million houses last year, like we got to get rid of him.
This guy's terrible. We need a backstory on this guy, the original guy. We need it.
He looks terrible. He must have they just murdered him, and they just like, what do you mean? What's Santa? You're Santa.
Yeah, you're Santa. Guys, don't bring him up.
Yeah,
don't bring him up. Like, he didn't even like, Scott didn't even ask, like, tell me a little bit about the guy that was just here. Like, no.
Yeah. Did he have a family? Like, what about his
Yeah, did he have a kid that wanted to follow him all the time?
It seemed like he did it. It was some guy. It looked like they just grabbed a dude. Like, you, It's like,
or like, did everybody die? Was the guy like alive for like? They never explain whether Scott's going to be alive forever.
But see, that's what I don't understand. And a question I had until I read the synopsis for Santa Claus 2, the synopsis, the problem I had really in the beginning was, one, is Santa immortal, right? And two, is Mrs. Claus just like, oh God, a new one? I gotta keep having relationships with these freaking random guys. Like, she, and every time she's like, who's this guy? It's like, well, this is your new husband. It's like, oh my God. Like, does a Mrs. Claus evaporate too? Like, it's just like, well, you're Mrs. Claus now. It's just like,
yeah, what happened? Wow.
I don't know.
So that's what I think is that guy was lonely. And he had been alive for so long that he was just like, nah, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah. It's got
He's seen it. He's seen it all. It's like, what is that movie what is that book that we read about that family that was like immortal when we were kids? Not A Wrinkle in Time.
I don't know.
Was it A Wrinkle in Time?
No, the family wasn't immortal in A Wrinkle in Time. That one kid had like.
It starts off with like a car almost running over a toad, and they're like, oh, it's like the toad didn't move because it wasn't scared of dying. Oh man, what the hell is this movie?
This is a young adult novel.
It might be. We read it as a kid. Immortal Family, or like they never got young.
Tuck Everlasting.
Oh my God, that's it.
I never read that. I never read that.
Dude, Tuck Everlasting. Anyways,
I never read this book.
Could it be that like, everybody gets old? So this guy, you can go totally depressed mode where like the Santa Claus is just like, I've seen Mrs. Claus die. I had a kid, like Charlie, he died. Everyone's dead. I'm done. I'm done.
It's like Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah. He's like, Christmas spirit is low. This is terrible. I've been through the Renaissance. I've been through the Dark Ages.
That is hilarious. Dude, this is a messed up book.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy.
10-year-old Winnie Foster is frustrated with her family because they keep her cooped up in a house and considers running away from home. They drink from the fountain of youth, and this has been developed into 2 movies, and one in 1981 and one in 2002.
I haven't seen that one.
Wow, this sounds like a real head scratcher.
It's crazy.
But yeah, the Santa Claus. Watch it this Christmas. If you haven't seen it, watch it. If you've seen it, watch it again. And yeah, let us know what you think. I think this is an amazing Christmas film.
Yeah, guys, let us know what your favorite Christmas movie is. What's the ultimate? It's Christmas time. You can't end Christmas without watching that movie. What is it? Did we not mention it? Next time, man, we're gonna do that movie no one really talks about. Santa Claus the movie. No, that movie was crazy. It's probably not good. That's why I was gonna say we should test it, but then
I was looking at it and I was like, this was depressing.
Oh, it was depressing. No, I was looking at it and it got 20% on Rotten Tomato, and I was like, fuck it. I was like, fuck it. I don't care about Rotten Tomato. They gave Cocktail 5%.
Yeah, we're gonna have that. We're gonna have to discuss that in our wrap up episode because there's a problem.
But like, it is a good. I remember being an okay movie, but I was like, no, man. So I was flipping and I was about to press play on that movie, and I saw this, and I was like, let me just see this first. I put this on, bro, and I was like, this is too good not to talk about. This movie.
Yeah, no,
it makes me smile, man. It's good.
It was a gem. Movie. Absolute gem.
It's everybody. One.
Thank you so much for listening. Rate, review, subscribe to the podcast, join the mailing list, tell your friends about the podcast, share it with like one person. If everyone shares with one person, that's a gift you could give us at the Nostalgia Test podcast, is to share the podcast.
Doesn't cost you anything.
It costs nothing. And and have a great holiday, and we'll see you in the next episode. Yeah.
Just stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram to see any more live shows that we're going to do. And if you do have a suggestion for a test, even if it's a short test, a 15-minute test, let us know.
suggest the test, join the mailing list, do all that good stuff, and have an amazing holiday and be safe out there, people. All right, have a good one. Peace. Thanks for listening to today's episode. Please subscribe to the Nostalgia Test podcast to know when new episodes drop. Don't forget to leave us 5 stars and a positive review so more people can find the podcast. Share your thoughts and memories on today's topic on our Twitter @NostalgiaTest and on Instagram @TheNostalgiaTest. Tune in next time because you never know what pop culture will pop up on The Nostalgia Test.